All right, folks, the Week 6 day games are in the book. A couple more games to go this week. We got a huge one for the Bengals tonight, a can't-lose game for them against the Giants. And then tomorrow night, an enormous one for the lead in the AFC East between the Bills and now the Jets with a new head coach. But let's talk about what happened today. It was a pretty uneventful Week 6 so far. Not a lot of close games really anywhere. Everything was kind of one score or more. Not a lot of real excitement, but there was some interesting things that happened today. I want to start with the Dallas Cowboys. What a disaster that was today. Playing at home versus the Detroit Lions, and they absolutely got their doors blown off. A 40-point loss, and they absolutely could not do anything. It looked to me like the team quit about halfway through the third quarter. They just couldn't do anything. They couldn't block for Dak. Dak threw a terrible pick on the first drive. Their defense couldn't stop anything the Lions were doing. The Lions were just running anything they wanted to at any time. And this is a disaster for the Cowboys. This is not a playoff team right now. And they're sitting at 3-3, and let's take a look at their next 5 games. They have the 49ers, Falcons, Eagles, Texans, and Commanders. They could easily go 1-4 in that 5-game stretch. This could get really bad. I would not be surprised if McCarthy's fired tonight. That was an absolutely pathetic performance by the Cowboys. It was kind of hard to even watch. It just looked like that team had just rolled over and just completely quit. And on the Lions side of things, right now, I think they look like the best team in the NFC. Now, losing Aiden Hutchinson, a horrific injury today, that is a terrible injury. He's one of the most impactful players on defense in the entire league, led the league in sacks last year. So if they lose him for the year, that completely changed the trajectory of that defense. But on offense, I love their play calling. Cowboys today could not figure out anything they had going on. Montgomery had a couple really hard runs, play action and misdirection all over the place. And they're really rolling right now. And right now, the Lions, I think, are the best team in the NFC. Number 2, the NFC North. Right now, the NFC North is the best division in the NFL. They are sitting at 17-5 right now. And if you look at that Packers game, the Packers go and absolutely house the Cardinals. I watched almost none of that game because it was over really early. I think it was 21-3 or something like that early on, so I just watched hardly any of it. And Jordan Love had an enormous day. And then the Bears today, they absolutely take it to the Jaguars, and the Bears are sitting at 4-2. And I think it's possible that this division has 4 playoff teams. If you look right now, 3 of them are in the playoffs. The other one is tied for that last playoff spot. But right now, there's going to be a lot of playoff teams from this division. And right now, they're the toughest division in the entire NFL. Number 3, are the Texans quietly the best team in the AFC? We don't really talk about them today. They had a really big win over the Patriots today. C.J. Stroud with 3 touchdowns, and Joe Mixon came back, and Joe Mixon was really good today. I think he is one of the best running backs, and we don't talk about the Texans a lot, but they're playing really well, and they're sitting at 5-1 right now. They got a lot of tough games coming up, so we'll see what they're about. Their schedule has been a little light so far, although they did have that big win versus Buffalo last week, but right now they're playing really good, and I think it's between them, the Chiefs, and the Ravens right now in the AFC, and I would not be surprised if the Texans are in the AFC Championship game this year at all. Number 4, the Browns versus Eagles. That was an absolutely painful game to watch. I watched every snap of this, and on both sides, I'm just scratching my head for a number of reasons. Number 1, why Deshaun Watson has not gotten benched so far as of yet is absolutely mind-blowing to me. He is absolutely terrible. He was dirting balls today. He was airmailing them. He just could not get away from any pressure. He's just terrible. And right now, we've been over the contract situation a number of times, but that's a disaster of a situation in Cleveland. And if you look at one point today, they were 0 for 26 in their last three third down conversions. I don't even know how that's possible. You'd think on accident they would convert one every now and then. But to be 0 and 26 is absolutely horrific. They were so bad today. And on the Eagles, they get away with a win, but every time I watch the Eagles, I'm just scratching my head. Why is Saquon not touching the ball? I think Saquon is the best non-quarterback in the NFL, and it seems like every time I look up, they're in the third quarter, and he has like 6 carries. And I just don't understand it. They get the win today. A couple big throws from Hurts, but he had a lot of pretty sketchy-looking plays himself. I didn't think either team was overly impressive today, but right now, what a disaster it is in Cleveland. And number 5, the Ravens beat the Commanders, and the Ravens have now won 4 in a row. And the one thing I love about the Ravens is their running attack with Derrick Henry and Lamar is absolutely deadly. They seem like every week Derrick Henry breaks off a couple runs. He got his 100th rushing touchdown today. And they're just rolling. And they seem like they got a lot of good wide receivers now. Wide receivers always been a kind of a weaker spot for them. But when you look at Zay Flowers and their 2 tight ends they have a lot of weapons now. And Derrick Henry and Lamar as a running combo in the backfield is going to be really tough for anyone to stop, especially as we get into December, January, when the temperature gets colder. People don't want to tackle as much. It's going to be really tough to stop the Ravens. So we'll see what happens tonight, and we'll see what happens with the Bills-Jets, and we'll talk to everyone on Wednesday.